On Easter Monday, April 2nd, 1877, the first Human Cannonball act was performed by 16-year-old Rossa Matilda Richter, known as Zazel, at the Royal Aquarium in London. Interestingly, this was just before her birthday on April 7th. Zazel was an accomplished tightrope and aerial acrobat by the time she became a human projectile. She was known for her compact strength, her beauty, and physique. Zazel was the protege of a Canadian rope walker, William Leonard Hunt, who was also known as the Great Farini. Farini was world-renowned for his high-wire walk above Niagara Falls, and he invented the Human Cannonball device. In 1871, he developed and patented a mechanism for launching a human through the air into a safety net. The Human Cannonball device doesn't actually shoot you like a gun, though. The flash, bang, and puff of gunpowder smoke is all for show. The real mechanism is a very large spring. Some would say it's like a human Nerf gun. 30 people have been killed in doing the Human Cannonball act, many times due to missing the net. Just as the Human Cannonball must accelerate to be able to fly through the air, the performer must also decelerate somehow to land. The quicker that this deceleration happens, the more dangerous and potentially fatal the outcome. That's why human cannonballs fly into nets or bodies of water. The mechanism that initially launched Zazel utilized rubber springs to limit the distance that she could travel. This was to help ensure that she would not overshoot the safety net. In 1880, she was brought to the United States by P.T. Barnum and headlined for a few years with his circus. Zazel's act was so popular that many people stole it. They didn't just steal Farini's cannonball device, but they would steal Zazel's name as well. She toured with Barnum's circus in France and across the United States. She also married his manager, George Oscar Starr. Zazel was one of the biggest stars of her era. She earned £200 a week and played to crowds of over 20,000 people daily throughout England and in the United States. In 1891, while touring the United States, she performed with the cannon as well as on a tightrope, also called a tight wire. The wire was about 40 feet off the ground and stretched across the entire performance tent. During this performance, while on the wire, she started to put up an umbrella. She signaled to her co-workers, who would typically tighten the wire when given the signal. When they increased the tension, the poles that were holding the wire came apart, and Zazel fell to the ground. She landed on her hands and knees. But moments later, one of the poles fell on her back. Two men rushed to her aid in front of the shocked crowd and noticed that she couldn't straighten out her body. So they pulled her shoulders and legs to straighten her out, partly to help, but also partly to calm the crowd down. Unfortunately, it quickly became clear that she had broken her back. The accident retired her from circus performance, and she spent several months in a suspended full body cast. Her place in the Guinness Book of World Records as the first human cannonball has also now been disputed, as some say the title belongs to the Australian duo Ella Zulia and George Loyal. Nonetheless, Zazel inspired generations of performers, and her legacy lives on. These are Interesting Things with JC.